Welcome everyone, and welcome to this week's 2-week roundup. So this 2 weeks roundup. Yeah, that makes sense. But yep, again we're gonna have a review of the last 2 weeks games I've had a look at and try and put them in some kind of crazy order. But before we do so, as you know by now, we'll look at the pinball games we've had a look at this time round. Both Zen Pinball 2 studio games. The first one was Castlestorm, based on the game Castlestorm. What a surprise. I did quite well on this review for a change, these review type gameplay things. Published by Zen Studios, of course, in 2015. This is a 2-pack table. It comes with Wild West Rampage, which I reviewed last week. Both good tables, ever so slight preference for Wild West Rampage, but I unlocked quite a few modes with Castlestorm and I thought it was pretty impressive. Some cool mini modes, a dragon at the top of the table, which is always good. And one of the mini modes was you have to defeat some raging hordes coming down the playfield with a crossbow at the sides. Really enjoyed this table. It's a good 2-pack, so if you want to buy those two, by all means have a look at them. Or have a look at the reviews if you're undecided, because there's plenty and plenty of Zen Pinball 2 tables. If you want all of them, it's going to cost you a pretty penny, so just divide it all up a bit. And the other table is from the Core Collection. We've just started reviewing here. It's a pack of 4 tables, this one. And we looked at Secrets of the Deep. Surprise, surprise, it's an underwater theme. It's not bad, but I prefer Castlestorm and Wild West Rampage from before. This 4-pack was published in 2014. Also gets you Rome, Biolab and Pasha, and they're very different looking tables, and I'm sure we'll come to those other 3 in the coming weeks. I think Zen Studios are going to release very soon on the PlayStation 3, because I haven't got PlayStation 4 yet. The Marvel, I don't know quite what it's called, but it's the Women Heroes of Marvel, so it might be Power Women or something like that, so that'd be interesting to see at some juncture. Okay, well, the reason I play video games is because I have so much stress at work. Yeah. Anyway, it's hard to keep a channel running part-time when you've got other hours, but we're still doing it, so hooray for that. In 6th place then, let's get to what we really do this video for. Let's get the ranking. In 6th place was WWF Wrestlemania, published by Ocean in 1991. Now, I put this in 6th place because I think the game could have been a lot better. I believe it's based on the arcade cabinet WWF Wrestling Superstars, and there's not many moves to it. It's a bit like waggling the joystick when you're in a hold to try and get the better of your opponent, and the quicker you waggle it, the more chance you have of success. Now, I'm not generally a big fan of these waggling the joystick sort of games, because I know from my youth as a kid, Daley Thompson's Decathlon on the ZX Spectrum broke many a joystick, and that's not good. So I was a bit light in the review. There's not too many game modes in there as well. The graphics are sort of like okay, but it's a bit sparse and a bit lackluster. I think they could have done a lot better with the Commodore Amiga's capabilities. There's a few other wrestling games on the Commodore Amiga. A few of you have suggested that I review them, and I have got them on my to-do list, so that'll happen at some point, but I don't quite know when. So that's in 6th place. They have other weeks, the 6th place has been an absolute dog of a game. This wasn't really a dog, it's just, as I say, could have been done a bit better. And in 5th place, again on the Commodore Amiga, so it took a bit of a kick in this time. But to be honest with you, I could have put this easily 4th. It's Team Suzuki, published by Gremlin Graphics in 1991. It's a motorbiking game or motorcycling game controlled using the mouse. We can do single player or championship, and there's 3 categories, which is like different powers of the bike dictates how quick it goes. You can't play this one without comparing it to No Second Prize. It was published by Talion a year later in '92, and No Second Prize is much better than this game. Although this isn't a dog, but it's come 5th. If you haven't seen my review of No Second Prize, search that out in the Commodore Amiga playlist to compare it with Team Suzuki. But the frame rate isn't particularly brilliant here, and it's a bit stuttery. It takes a while to get used to the controls. It isn't a bad thing. Apparently if you hit the spacebar you can do a reverse view, but that's almost impossible to control the bike and do that as well. You can get used to it the more you play, but you do get a feeling a bit nausea after a while, a bit of sickness, so I don't think you do any more than 2 and 3 races. But it defaults to a 5-lap race, and this you can have a 3. So it's an early example of motorbiking games, but a lot better was to come for sure. And in 4th place, on the ZX Spectrum 128K this time, bit of a space theme, it's Space Gun, published by Ocean in 1992. So all these games in the bottom half, all published quite close together. This is based on the arcade cabinet, also called Space Gun, where you visit a stricken ship or space station there, which is sent out a distress call, you board it, and it's basically a first-person shooter where you're shooting various aliens, a bit in the style of Operation WULF or Operation Thunderbolt, if you're aware of those games, where you must kill all the aliens and rescue our hostages. It's a little bit samey. The 128K version is attempting a lot of stuff here. The sprites are big of the aliens, and there's a lot of them at screen at the same time, and also the background is moving as you go along the corridors. It does it okay. I don't mind the game as such. It's not going to compare with the arcade cabinet for sure, but I think it doesn't do a bad effort, and that's why it's come 4th place. Didn't quite get in the top 3, although when I ordered it first of all, it did. So the bottom 3, 6th place, WWF Wrestlemania by Ocean in 1991. Team Suzuki by Gremlin Graphics in 5th place, also in 1991. And in 4th place, Space Gun on the ZX Spectrum 128K, published by Ocean in 1992. So yep, let's come to the top 3, the main big superstars of this 2-week show. Now, of course, if you disagree with this order, by all means put your list below what you thought. Quite often you disagree, but quite often we have the same one and last one. It's just the middle order we seem to disagree with. But it's good to know. It's good to know. I'm influenced by your comments as well, actually, when I put the games up of what I think too. So keep commenting, that's what I'm saying. And in 3rd place, on the Game Boy Advance, I've only recently come across this game, Sabre Wolf by THQ in 2004. Now, if you're a hardcore retro gamer, and back in the ZX Spectrum days, you'll be aware of Sabre Wolf by Ultimate Play the Game. It was on the ZX Spectrum, of course, published in 1984, so some many years beforehand. And Sabre Wolf, the game doesn't play like the original Sabre Wolf, but they've tried to maintain the same style. You control some sort of explorer going through the jungle, and in this one, the Sabre Wolf has escaped from a statue which he was entombed in by some wizard sort of guy, and this Sabre Wolf comes out and kidnaps the mayor and steals various other bits, and the game's divided into separate platform games where you must rescue the person kidnapped or get the object back. As soon as you've got it, you must outrun the wolf back to the start again. It's quite good, but the game has too much story for me. I want to get straight into it, and a lot of Game Boy Advance games, I wouldn't say suffer from it because they was very popular, but I just like to get back into it with a minimal a story as possible. Essentially, it's a platform game and you must get objects. What more do we need to know? And in 2nd place on the ZX Spectrum, a bit of a classic, a favourite of many, and I think one person says their favourite game of all time. It's Highway Encounter, yes, ZX Spectrum by Vortex Software back in 1985. And this was the earliest game we reviewed this time round in the 80s. This is a rather clever isometric game where you control some Dalek looking thing. You have 4 lives and they all start in a row there. They have to push along an isometric road a weapon called the Lasertron. And in each screen, which is separated into different zones, I think there's about 30 odd, there's various obstacles to guide your party through. If you bump into it, you die and lose one of your Dalek things. If you lose all of them, then of course you're dead. And if you get to zone 0, you can launch the Lasertron, which is like a pyramid thing, and get some amazing game over sequence. Did I complete the game in my review gameplay? Well, no. But just in case I'm lying, watch it anyway. It has got a sequel, I believe, called, I might have got this wrong now, it might be Alien Encounter or Alien Highway. We'll come to that maybe in a month or two to see how it differs. But a good game. I'm pretty rubbish at it, but I might go back to it. So, yep, what does that leave in 1st place? well, if you've been watching the channel over this period, you won't be surprised because I absolutely loved this game playing it, and I think it showed in the review. It's called Sled Storm on the PlayStation 1, published by Electronic Arts in 1999, and it was the latest of all the games that we reviewed. You control a ski sled or a power sled or sleigh, and you're competing against 3 other computer opponents. You can do stunts if you're that way inclined. I just struggled to stay on the track really. You're going over mountains. It's like a snowy theme. We're going over different tracks. There's more than one route to get to the finish. You do about 3 laps, and if you win you get on to the next stage, and it's divided into certain sections. It's absolutely heaps of fun. I'd love to play this in 2-player, but no one was around at the time I produced the video. Have a look at that one. I really enjoyed myself playing that one. Sent to the channel by Longrod, so thanks to him. And there's a few other games we'll review by him. Not by him, he didn't write them, that he sent in. Okay, fair enough. We tend to also actually in the Game Boy Advance games and the PlayStation games, if I got them available, of course, 1 a week of either one. So yep, so in 3rd place was Sabre Wolf on the Game Boy Advance by THQ in 2004. In 2nd place, Highway Encounter by Vortex Software in 1985. And in 1st place, Sled Storm by Electronic Arts in 1999. Thanks for watching the channel as always, really appreciated there if you're just dropping by or if you're a long-term supporter, excellent. And have a great weekend, there'll be some more videos going up I'm sure. Until next time, take care of yourself and a very warm goodbye.
Goodbye.
Better wave. That's better.